What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Sun Behind the Sun Chronicles, where I walk around at sunrise and discuss various things. When you see the title of today's talk, I literally have all of nature, especially the plants and the trees. They are broadcasting the intensity of what's transpiring in the cosmos. I don't know if you guys can hear even the crickets in the background as I walk around. But they are even broadcasting the harmony of the music of the universe. What's up, Don? Don Rogers. We're here. This is my Sun Behind the Sun Chronicles, where I walk around at sunrise and do this from time to time. And like I said, for the last 30 plus hours, I have been receiving information from the collective cosmos. I mean, nature, the sound of the crickets, the sound of the birds. All of nature is broadcasting the intensity of what's transpiring. And I gotta tell you, I really, I have to share some of the information that has been coming to me. And me having a background in a lot of the mythologies and lores of cultures, I gotta, you know, the overwhelming emotional feelings when some of the visuals that have been given to me over the last few, over the last decades, even, some of the visions that I've gotten, especially the last few days, the intensity of some of the information that has been coming to me, that's in the collective, right? It lines up with a lot of other Buddhism, Christianity, a lot of things, right? And they talk about in Hinduism and in Vedic cultures, right? The different yuga cycles. And according to them, right now, we are in the Kali Yuga. And there is a debate about the current, like the Kali Yuga cycle. People think that it might be running for like 4,300,000 and something, 20,000 years, things like that. What's up, Chloe? But also, there's some people that think that the Kali Yuga cycle is ending in 2025, right? So if people don't know about the Yuga cycles, there are various cycles that we go through, right? And they also had various incarnations of Vishnu, right? So one of the incarnations of Vishnu is yet to happen, right? The 10th incarnation of Vishnu. So it's possible that this event that they're talking about, and we got to remember that these are not people that's arriving. Many people think, I mean, there might be a person that is brought by the light that's going to help usher in a new age. But the event that I'm talking about is not a person, right? They're talking about literally the flaming sword of the sun coming down and annihilating Earth first. And then a new golden age will emerge from those ashes, right? So let's first discuss what we're coming upon possibly in 2025 with a solar storm. Now, intuitively, telepathically, however you want to label it, I have been very connected to the cosmic collective consciousness. In fact, you guys will see in the upcoming books that I'm releasing, and I've been showing some stuff on Patreon periodically, I have been and various other people are channeling this information. I hate to use that word channeling, but pulling in this information from the collective cosmic consciousness through their creativity and art and not even realizing it's coming out that way. I have been doodling. You could call it automatic writing, you could call it whatever you want, but I have been doodling and sketching. It's random things that I didn't even realize what they meant for decades, over 30 plus years, right? And it wasn't until the last 5 or 6 years I realized that a lot of it has to do with plasma symbology and the way the solar wind flows, because this is how information comes from stars. So I'm literally been sketching the flow of information coming from stars, because this is how it flows to us. This is how we receive light. We absorb the light and it comes in the form of electrons and photons, and we absorb that information. And we also have emanations of our own that comes out of us, biophotons, which are imprinted with our thoughts and our prayers and our intentions and our vibration, right? And these emanations that come out of us are absorbed by the sun and the moon, right? So we are all connected, right? And I've been sketching plasma symbology, and the plasma, I hate to use the word plasma all the time, but the science, we call this plasma, but it's a sentient intelligence of the universe that has to do with creating, and it comes in the form of light, right? And we have different, and it's another, it's a higher state of intelligence, right? We can't truly fully understand, and it's described in all ancient religions, right? Yeah, Garuda will fail to protect Earth. Wow, Anna's starting to get the the Rockestaldo terminology. Oh my God, you just made my day. Yeah. So Anna, that is great, Anna. Holy crap, I love it. So let me describe to you guys too what we're talking about when they describe this 10th incarnation of Vishnu, right? Which is yet to appear in the Hindu world, right? So the Kali Yuga is said to end, right? We're in the Kali Yuga now. That's pretty much agreed upon across the board. When the Kali Yuga ends is, oh, no doubt, Anna. When the Kali Yuga ends is amongst debate. I know that a lot of people, they tend to follow that guy, Sanguru. Uh, I mean, he does say some things that are intelligent, but you have to use discernment. That this guy, nobody has the answers to the universe, right? Um, but people can help you with your own discernment, you know. And when you start to see people become gurus, and you got to be very leery. You know, I actually I like the guy, the Sun Yogi, that I interview. But there's one thing I really don't agree about. That's an element of who he is, like being sort of a guru in a way. It's one thing. I think he comes from the standpoint where he's trying to teach people the yoga, but at another point, it starts to become like a ego thing when you think above some people, right? But I hope that's not what he. But he is labeled sort of a guru. That I don't agree with. But I do like the fact that he's able to receive cosmic connections to the sun from meditation with the sun, and even using it as a form of a food, right? To be able to absorb the light from the sun and use that as a source of sustenance, which people may have to do in drastic situations in life. It should be one of the things underneath a yogi's hat, right? It shouldn't be something that's used continuously, but it should be something that is under that yogi's hat to be a possibility. But this 10th incarnation of Vishnu that I'm talking about, right? Whether people want to agree when the Kali Yuga ends or not, because some people actually think um, it's ascending right now, and it stops ascending in 2025, where it's the end of that ascension of the Kali Yuga in 2025, where the Kali Yuga might end in 2025. Some people think it's going to continue for like many, many, many years, even thousands of years. But in the Hindu tales, I've been reading these stories ever since I was in high school, right? Ever since the early 90s, I've been reading these stories from the Hindu tales, right? I used to be fascinated reading a lot of them. Even before I owned books of my own of some of them, I was reading them in the libraries and schools and things like that, right? The Mahabharata, the Bhagavad Gita, the the what was it? The Vedas, the Rig Veda, the all the Vedas actually. The Rig Veda is the oldest, but you have the Puranas. There's so many Vedic stories as well, right? But the one of the main ones is the different incarnations of Vishnu, right? And as far as they go, then there's 9 incarnations of Vishnu that has already transpired, right? The 10th yet to happen, and some happen in 2025. And what's interesting is that I do feel intensity growing, and I've been getting visions of things that are pretty incredible. And I've been getting these visions most of my life, but the intensity have been growing, and I've been feeling it in the sounds of the crickets, certain birds that fly by, geese and things like this. Just it's been broadcasting from nature what's transpiring. And the 10th incarnation of Vishnu is when he comes riding on this freaking white horse, and he's brandishing his flaming sword of the gods, right? Or of God, or of the universe. Now, what is he talking about here? And this flaming sword's gonna freaking destroy Earth, and then a golden age is gonna emerge from its ashes, right? So they're saying that basically Vishnu is gonna come riding on his white horse, brandishing this flaming sword to destroy Earth, right? To destroy this world, and then establish some sort of new golden age amongst its ashes, right? So what are we talking about here? Now, we're not talking about a friggin' person riding on a literal white horse, right? We're talking about symbology, and people that know the symbology of adepts and the mystics and of the ancient religions and mysticism, they know that horse symbology has to do with solar symbology. And the white horse also represents the savior coming, right? But it's the savior coming from the sun. Make no mistake from that. And it's the sun that's carrying the flaming sword as a weapon, which is the coronal solar flare, coronal mass ejection, right? That flaming sword of Archangel Michael is the same thing. And in Christianity, and especially in Christian mysticism, or even in theosophy, and various other groups, you know, and they talk about this being we're in the age of Archangel Michael right now, which seems to be hand in hand with the Kali Yuga in certain aspects, right? So, and Archangel Michael is the flaming sword of the sun. He's the solar flare, the solar coronal mass ejection, the plasma flaming sword of the sun, right? That can literally annihilate Earth, and a new age will start in its ashes. And we have these flaming swords coming from the sun with intensity, And the intensity is going to reach its peak in 2025. And make no mistake, people, you might not realize that your whole energetic body, your physical body, and the energetic layers that you have around you that first receive the light, that first receive the 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 EMF waves and the radiation waves and everything, you're first getting it by the little feelers that you have around you, your energetic net around you. That first is penetrated by the damaging rays that come towards your way, microwaves and all that. It's first hitting your energetic layers, right? Your little feelers of energy, of electricity that's around you, right? That network is first getting bombarded, right? Your aura, your biosystem around you is first getting, those feelers around you are first getting incinerated by those harmful waves, even from the sun, right? So remember that. Remember that. It's first penetrating those layers. And we're going to be, it's very important that people realize that you can, this is that type of radiation is DNA stripping type of radiation. But if the sun and the light is programmed with certain information, it might be able to actually elevate our DNA and bring us to a higher state. It might have to do with what's in your intentions, what's in your thoughts and prayers, and who you are as a being. Yeah, Archangel Michael is the sun. He's the flaming sword of God. He's the flaming sword of the sun. And every angel, archangel, fallen angels, they're associated with certain suns and stars. And technically, I think Archangel Michael is considered the sun of our solar system, of this solar system here. He's the star of the earth, right? The earth star, the earth sun, the flaming sword. He's a weapon of God. He's the protector of this solar system. And when things get too chaotic on a planet, he brings the flaming sword of God, right? The coronal mass ejections and you know, those flaming swords of the sun can restart Earth right in its ashes. And in 2025, it's coming to its peak. And make no mistake, those energetic layers that first receive these waves of light, they're going to be first receiving those intense, you know, that everything that's coming from the sun, right? All that information that's coming is first hitting our layers around us. And it affects all the storms that's happening, the solar storms that's happening right now. It's going to affect our energetic layers first, right? It's going to make you tired. It's going to affect your personality. It's going to affect the different points of your body, right? And it's very symbolic as well. When different storms come from the far side of the sun, right? We're going to have storms come from the far side of our life and just affect us out of nowhere. All of humanity, I mean, not just specific people, but it does affect specific people more when the sun is in your chart and how the sun is aligning with your journey and how you were born. The moment you were born, the sun's alignment within the stars and everything else that affects your journey and how the sun rises and falls through your chart, right? It's all about the angles of the light. Yes. And, you know, we receive the light, we absorb the light coming from the sun on an angle, right? It's like a 45-degree angle. And it's a specific sacred design of the universe, right? We're connected. The spinal current of who we are is connected to that frequency that's pulsating up our spine and into the back of our brainstem, where that's like a walking antenna, right? It's a cosmic sacred design. And you're gonna see, I'm gonna show guys, it's really important you guys join my Patreon. Because I'm gonna make the a commit. I had made it before, not, people weren't showing up. I don't know if they weren't getting their emails about it, but I'm gonna start it again this week, where I'm gonna make a commitment where certain nights of the week we're gonna do the copper and crystals, and certain nights of the week we're gonna be doing um, diagrams and talks about certain things, because the way light is actually spills from sun to sun, because I've been shown things about the universe that is going to be talked about controversial, right? And there's other elements that other people have brought up as well in their research that I'm going to bring up that fits. But I don't like, and people, you can read this on my Patreon yesterday, I really have a problem when people's research becomes dogmatic and becomes a religion of its own. Like there's the electric universe people, there's the plasma universe people, there's all these different peoples, and like the thunderbolts of the god group, where their research becomes set in stone because they came to their own conclusion about things, and now it becomes a religion of its own. And these are the same things that these people were fighting about from mainstream science, right? And then they come up with their own theory, and that becomes dogmatic to them. Listen, science should never be a religion of its own. Spirituality and science need to be merged together to find the answers, right? So when somebody comes up with a way, they think, oh, the universe works this way. Now that becomes their religion, and it becomes they're set in stone with that. Yeah, the Jed, also the Jed pillar that you're talking about, also called the Tau or Tat cross, right? That I've discovered is representing originally. Now there is other there's dualities to this, right? There's a microcosm and a macrocosm, right? It could represent the spinal cord of ourselves, right? Because listen, patterns in the universe are same throughout our body as they are in the cosmos. So our spinal system works like the ladders in the sky as well, right? So um, and this works the way plasma flows and solar wind flows and aurora flow, right? So when you have um, even the trident, um, all of these symbols actually are conal funnels. They sort of look like cones or funnels, or the bottom of a bell, the funnel part at the end, or cups, right? This is the way plasma is spilled over in the universe and collected and streamed and funneled straight, is through these plasma cones, right? These plasma funnels. And the symbology is everywhere, everywhere. And I'm revealing this in an incredible way. And what's remarkable is I actually came to it in my own way, and I actually have found other websites that other people have pointed out different things, like Anthony Perrott, who's an astrophysicist, but they've also had people start websites off of those where it becomes like a religion, where they're set in stone about something. I don't believe that it's an electric universe altogether. I can't say how it's all happening, but I know that the universe is connected by some sort of sentient type material intelligence of matter that we call in science plasma now. You know, how it all is, but I can tell you that the symbology and the origins of the symbology, been receiving like visions from the universe, God, however you want to describe it, and pointing me in the right direction for me to do my own inner exploration, right? And This symbology is everywhere, and I could show you that. It's gonna blow your guys' minds when I show you some of the things, and uh, it's incredible. From when you see the Tau cross or even that Jed pillar, that is basically showing like the solar wind flow coming from the star and how it funnels as well. It's like a column, and then it comes to the end where it's a funnel type structure, right? And there's even usually a ring around the middle part, the choke ring or flip ring in plasma physics, right? And you see this even in the Tibetan lamas, their vision of the universe. They'll literally have a circle with that square inside of it, that square ziggurat type structure. And then out of the ziggurat structure is this huge column type thing that funnels at the end and has a ring around the middle. You guys can see it all on my Patreon. But yeah, guys, for my on my Patreon, you can literally join for as low as $2 a month, and it gets you access to some of the most incredible information that you can't find anywhere else. And you get access to a whole bunch of other things as well, like first dibs on my copper and crystal products, discounts, and you get priceless information on there. Priceless information for less than a cup of coffee a month. And if you get the higher tiers, they get you readings and free things in the mail and all sorts of stuff. I'm gonna update the tiers on there and write different stuff in there because that's a little outdated by now. But I post on my Patreon all week long every week, so check that out. I'm actually thinking about going live from my on my Space Water podcast when I get back. I'm gonna make a set schedule with that, and because I'm starting an audio podcast on the Forbidden Knowledge News Network. Um, but I got to do that with my like Sony audio, so I'm gonna use like a professional mic and keep it in my face. When I'm on YouTube and I do my podcast on YouTube, like I like to move my hands and move around a lot when I talk, so I just use the camera mic on that one. But when I do the audio podcast, like I used to do my radio show, I'm gonna make it like with my legit microphone and stuff. But I want to make a set schedule for my Space Water podcast and for Patreon. So I'll get with the people on Patreon so we can make the best dates throughout the week for people. And yeah, the double slit experiment is the old experiment. But it's very interesting. You guys could do the double slit experiment really, really easy at your own house. You guys can look that up online. Um, but yeah, we have incredible amounts of solar storms taking place, worldwide earthquakes taking place, and I'm going to be revealing information that you've never heard before that I was shown by the universe recently. And in fact, I've been like wondering about this most of my life. So it wasn't like I just came to this now. This has been something that I've been fighting for and thinking about for years. And it's a crucial, I knew it was crucial for our survival as a species to understand this as well. And for us to move on and evolve as a species, it's knowledge we once lost. So I was shown that volcanoes rise up out of the sea from not only through sound and harmonics, but from earthquakes and from solar storms and from the sound and music and light that's being sent from the sun. Information, storms, vibrations, harmonics that's literally being sent from the light from the sun is causing earthquakes to happen on our planet. It's from harmonics, from sound and vibration. It causes earthquakes to happen, which opens up the ground, opens up parts of the sea, and volcanoes rise up. It's what makes new land form. Sound and vibration is what makes the earth spit up new life, right? rises up out of the sea. And it also has to do with where the moon is and the light from the moon and the sun, all of this connected. And it's talked about in mythology. Literally. I'm going to talk about it later on my Space Water podcast. Literally, even the island where the book of Revelation was prophesied, Patmos, that island rose up out of the sea. And in mythology, it talks about how the goddess Selene, the moon goddess, had to make a deal with Apollo. And she signed her moon rays on it at the bottom of the sea. And then the sun god made a deal with Poseidon. And then Poseidon and everybody decided that they would let the moon goddess uh, have the other lady that came and visit her rise it up out of the sea as an island, right? I mean, they're literally talking about how the sun and the moonlight and the harmonics from the sun is making volcanoes rise up out of the sea. And I actually have it shown in all sorts of symbology. Mount Meru, right? Mount Kailash, all of these mountains that are these sacred creation mountains have to do with harmonics, sound, and vibration that's coming from the universe, that's rising volcanoes and new life and land up out of the sea. It's how the first land was emerged on this planet. Right? The rock is put there and the water's there, and then the sound and vibration is brought there so earth can rise up out of the waters. Right? And I've been shown this stuff. So I can't tell you if it's actually truth, but I can tell you that shit that I've been shown, I can also find scientific evidence. I can also find evidence in mythology and folklore. So I think that's pretty mind-blowing. Pretty freaking mind-blowing. And yeah, these solar storms, why do you think that I've dedicated my whole life? I didn't just, I worked a regular job and made a lot more money. A lot more money. More than twice what I'm making now. I was making in my regular job. Right? I had to take a lot of cuts in life financially to be able to do what I'm doing now. And I believe in it with a passion, because I believe that we're going to war every day. We are going to war every day with decisions that we have to make, with all sorts of things that we do throughout the day. We're going to war spiritually with ourselves and with our environment. And it shouldn't be this way. So if we're going to get back in harmony with ourselves and our environment, we need some assistance. We need some protection from the harmful rays and things around us. And we need a better connection to our higher selves. And minerals and all sorts of plants and all sorts of things on this planet are here to help us in times of need. Right? Just like in South America. If you have kidney stones, there's a certain plant that will break up those kidney stones. You don't have to go get chemicals from the doctor mixed in with a plant. There's plants, I forget what it's called now. And then if you go to, see, before ayahuasca was like a thing, before it was popular, I went and did it. And you check this out. Allegedly, I'm not even gonna say this is true because I don't know if I can get in trouble. But I was on probation when I was a young man in New York for getting in trouble with marijuana and stuff when I was younger, right? But so I wasn't allowed to leave the state, so I actually just left and went to California. So while I was out in California, my best friend that was out there, me and him almost look exactly alike, same height, same everything. So I literally went and traveled with his. I gave him my ID and birth certificate and stuff that I had on me out there to hold, and I never ended up getting it back. Poor guy's dead now too, my friend. But I used his ID and his passport, and I traveled to Thailand and to Brazil and ultimately to Peru on the edge of the border there, the Acre River. And this was back in 2001, between 2001 and 2003. So it was actually right after the World Trade Center happened too. So security was really stressful, and I was like shitting bricks through customs and stuff. Like when you have to go through with passport and stuff. But I actually went and did ayahuasca in the end. It was like right after Christmas of 2001, going into 2002. It was on the Acre River in Peru, it's like, I think right on the border there. And this was before it was like a thing. I had read about it, and I had I had I didn't have much information. I had like a brochure that I got in Brazil. So I had gone through various things with learning how plants can speak to you. And if you go to some of the South America tribes and you ask them, where they got the information about how the stones, how the plant can break up kidney stones, or how the plants can cure heart disease, or all these different things that they have ailments for, they say the plant told them while they were doing ayahuasca. Because you know how we see with our eyes? Well, you don't have to believe me about this or not, but I do believe that the whole living organism, the plant itself, the whole thing is an eye. The whole thing is an ear. The whole thing is literally can see and hear you from all sides and all angles. It's 1,000 eyes. It's 1,000 ears. Every every morsel, every inch, every centimeter, every piece of fabric of that plant can see you and hear you. Right? We just have eyes to see and things like that. We're limited, but the plant, its whole organism is sight and sound and all of that. It's literally like a dendrite system, a neural network reaching out of the soil, ready to receive the light from the sun. It's really incredible. And yeah, so I do think that it's a possibility that this prophecy that was shown with these incarnations of Vishnu, they have deep information about nature and the universe and the cycles that suns go through, and how it's related also to the activity and the vibrations of the planetary systems that's around certain suns. Thank you guys for joining me. You could support me right here in the super chat to keep the Space Water podcast alive and free here on YouTube. You could support me at patreon.com/the Mystical Spiral. Guys, you could support me at the Mystical Spiral store as well, and get yourself some of the most mind-blowing, unique amulets, pendants, talismans for protection. We have the highest level crystals and gemstones that you could get on the planet. I have retail and wholesale available. I just made yesterday this massive piece of shungite, collector's grade shungite with heavy gauge twisted copper around it. I just put it up online. It's a awesome piece, really incredible piece. And I've been putting up the best gemstones wrapped with, I'm using royal cubit measurement, so a lot of them are double royal cubits. That's over 44 inches of copper twisted together. That's a lot of copper in there. So check that out, the Mystical Spiral store. We got Labor Day sales up there, and I'm also going to put a Labor Day coupon code up. So don't miss out, everybody. I already put up some Labor Day sales up there as well, and there's already some huge discounts up there. So contact me also if you want a custom made order, or you want to go through some of my inventory that's not up on the website. Look for the Space Water podcast. I might be doing that in a few minutes. Like I said, I've been up for over 30 hours. I've been out in nature and the universe. I was out with my family all day yesterday. And when my family was sleeping, I continued to be out, and I was writing in my book in nature. And I wrote like 3 chapters out in nature while I was just receiving information from the universe, everybody. So the right now it's so intense what's going on out there, and the music of the universe is loud because the veil is thinning, and the veil is our magnetosphere, our shield around our planet. As that becomes weaker, we receive more information. The dimensions are thinning. That veil is very thin, especially we have a huge gateway of the South Atlantic anomaly. The South Atlantic anomaly, everybody, over South America. It's a huge area where the gates are, the veil is thin. Oh, shout out to Chloe. Love you, Chloe. Thank you so much. I got a present coming your way soon. Much love, Chloe. Guys, that helps out so much. Even when we do the Space Water podcast, if everybody once in a while just chipped in like $1 or something like that, or $2, it would help out so much. You guys don't even realize. I'm living week to week right now. I'm housing, feeding, and clothing 3 of us, and I'm the only one that has an income because we're homeschooling my daughter and running my small business and doing everything. So it pretty much takes up both of me and my wife's time doing all that. And not to mention all the podcasts I do, the free information I put up there all the time that I've been putting up there. YouTube and all this, I don't really make money from YouTube. I don't like, last year I didn't even make $1,000 for the whole year for YouTube. So that's really not, it's not an income for me. Not yet, at least. So I do this because it's a passion, everybody. So much love, and I hope you guys have a prosperous and healthy, lovely day. I really do appreciate you guys all. Thank you for spending this 40 minutes with me here. And I hope you guys receive some worthy information of your time. Have a good day, and I'll see. Look for the Space Water podcast. I might be doing it soon. Like I said, I've been up for a long time, so I'm gonna see the situation when I get back to the house because I've been walking for like the last hour or so. Love you guys. Spiral out.